All right, settle down everyone. Twisty McFisty here, your trusty travel companion, and let me tell you, I'm so excited for this journey we're about to embark on. We're talking about the good old US of A land absolutely bursting with incredible sights, from towering mountains that'll make you feel like you're on top of the world to sparkling cities that never sleep. So what are we waiting for? Grab your fanny packs, your comfiest walking shoes, and maybe even one of those little neck pillows, because we're about to dive headfirst into the top 25 must-visit places this diverse and dazzling country has to offer. Get ready for some insider travel tips, breathtaking views, and maybe, just maybe, a cheeky snack or two along the way. Now, I know what you're thinking. Twisty mate, 25 places, that's a lot of ground to cover, and you'd be right, it is. But trust me, each and every one of these destinations is absolutely worth the hype. We'll be zigzagging across mountains, deserts, bustling cities, and everything in between, soaking up the unique charm and excitement that each place has to offer. So buckle up, grab your sense of adventure, and get ready to explore the very best of the United States. This, my friends, is going to be one epic adventure. All right, settle down everyone. Twisty McFisty here, your trusty travel companion, and let me tell you, I'm so excited for this journey we're about to embark on. We're talking about the good old US of A land absolutely bursting with incredible sights, from towering mountains that'll make you feel like you're on top of the world to sparkling cities that never sleep. So what are we waiting for? Grab your fanny packs, your comfiest walking shoes, and maybe even one of those little neck pillows, because we're about to dive headfirst into the top 25 must-visit places this diverse and dazzling country has to offer. Get ready for some insider travel tips, breathtaking views, and maybe, just maybe, a cheeky snack or two along the way. Now, I know what you're thinking. Twisty mate, 25 places, that's a lot of ground to cover, and you'd be right, it is. But trust me, each and every one of these destinations is absolutely worth the hype. We'll be zigzagging across mountains, deserts, bustling cities, and everything in between, soaking up the unique charm and excitement that each place has to offer. So buckle up, grab your sense of adventure, and get ready to explore the very best of the United States. This, my friends, is going to be one epic adventure. First up, we're kicking things off with a true American icon. The Grand Canyon, it's so massive you could fit the entire population of Australia in it. For Instagram-worthy shots, head to Mather Point or Yavapai Point. The views are so stunning you'll want to yodel or take a selfie. It can get toasty, so pack water, sunscreen and a hat. Feeling adventurous? Hike down into the canyon. Remember, safety first, stick to marked trails and take breaks. No need to rush through this natural wonder. All right, adventure seekers, next stop Yellowstone National Park. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're about to enter a world of bubbling mud pots, erupting geysers, and maybe even a few surprise encounters with the local wildlife. Think of it as a giant geothermal playground with a side of bison traffic jams. It's truly a sight to behold. Now, no trip to Yellowstone is complete without witnessing the majesty of Old Faithful. This iconic geyser is like the Beyoncé of the park, always a showstopper. Every 90 minutes or so, Old Faithful shoots a jet of boiling water high into the air, and let me tell you, it's a sight that'll leave you speechless. Just be sure to stand back a safe distance unless you fancy getting a surprise shower, courtesy of Mother Nature. But Yellowstone isn't just about geysers. Oh no. This park is teeming with wildlife, from majestic elk and graceful deer to those iconic black bears and grizzly bears. Remember, folks, these are wild animals, so admire them from a safe distance, and whatever you do, don't try to sneak up on a bison for a selfie. Trust me, it won't end well, and while you're exploring this geothermal wonderland, keep your eyes peeled for the park's otherworldly features, like the Grand Prismatic Spring. This massive hot spring is like a rainbow in liquid form, with vibrant colors swirling and shifting before your very eyes. It's enough to make you question if you've stumbled onto another planet. So grab your camera, pack your sense of adventure, and get ready to experience the untamed beauty of Yellowstone National Park. All right, adventure seekers, next stop, Yellowstone National Park. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're about to enter a world of bubbling mud pots, erupting geysers, and maybe even a few surprise encounters with the local wildlife. No trip to Yellowstone is complete without witnessing the majesty of Old Faithful. This iconic geyser is like the Beyoncé of the park, always a showstopper. And while you're exploring, keep your eyes peeled for the Grand Prismatic Spring. This massive hot spring is like a rainbow in liquid form, so grab your camera, pack your sense of adventure, and get ready to experience Yellowstone National Park. All right, folks, buckle up because we're heading to the Big Apple, the city that never sleeps, the concrete jungle where dreams are made of, New York City. And let me tell you, this place is absolutely magical. First up, you got to hit Times Square. It's bright, it's loud, it's a bit overwhelming, kind of like that mate who's had a few too many espressos, but in the best way possible. You've got giant billboards, Broadway shows, and enough energy to power a small country. And after all that excitement, you're going to need a little peace and quiet, right? Well, guess what? Central Park is just a hop, skip, and a jump away. It's like stepping into a whole other world. A green oasis right in the middle of the city. You can have a picnic, go for a stroll, maybe even rent a rowboat. It's the perfect place to recharge your batteries. And speaking of recharging your batteries, you're going to need some serious fuel for all the exploring you're going to do. And let me tell you, New York City is a foodie's paradise. From street vendors selling hot dogs the size of your arm to Michelin-starred restaurants that'll blow your socks off, this city has it all. Next up, we're off to the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. Now, this city is known for its bright lights, its casinos, and its ability to make you feel like you've stepped into a real-life movie set. And speaking of shows, you absolutely cannot go to Vegas without catching one of the incredible performances on offer. We're talking Cirque du Soleil, magic shows, music legends, you name it, Vegas has got it. It's like Broadway, and the West End had a baby, and that baby was raised on glitter and espresso martinis. But it's not all just gambling and shows, you know. Vegas also has some pretty incredible attractions. You can take a gondola ride at the Venetian, zip line through Fremont Street, or even visit the Eiffel Tower, well, a replica of it anyway. But hey, who's counting when you're in Vegas? And before I forget, let's talk about the food. Vegas is home to some of the most incredible restaurants in the world, run by celebrity chefs and serving up dishes that are almost too pretty to eat. Almost. But trust me, you're going to want to dig in. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're heading to the Golden Gate City, San Francisco. This place is a real beauty, with its rolling hills, Victorian houses, and of course, that iconic bridge. No trip to San Francisco is complete without visiting the Golden Gate Bridge. Walk, bike, or drive it, the views are breathtaking. And don't miss the famous cable cars. For history and mystery, head to Alcatraz Island and indulge in San Francisco's incredible food. All right, mates, buckle up because we're heading to Miami, the Magic City. And let me tell you, this place is truly magical. First things first, Miami is known for its beaches and for good reason. We're talking miles and miles of golden sand and crystal clear water. Now, if you're looking for the heart of the action, South Beach is where it's at. Picture this, Art Deco buildings painted in the most vibrant colors you've ever seen, stylish cafes, and of course, those iconic lifeguard towers. You'll feel like you've stepped right into a movie set. But Miami isn't just about soaking up the sun. Oh no, my friends, this city comes alive at night. The nightlife here is legendary, with clubs and bars that pulse with energy until the wee hours. Whether you're into salsa dancing, electronic beats, or just want to sip on a mojito while enjoying the ocean breeze, Miami's got you covered. And speaking of mojitos, you can't leave Miami without trying some authentic Cuban food, from savory ropa vieja to those delicious pastelitos. Your taste buds will be doing the salsa too. So pack your swimsuit, your dancing shoes, and your appetite for adventure, because Miami is ready to show you a good time. Next up, we're cruising down the coast to the City of Angels, Los Angeles. Now, this place is a whole vibe. A melting pot of dreams, sunshine, and, well, maybe a bit of traffic, but trust me, it's worth braving the 405 for. First on our LA adventure, we got to do Hollywood, right? We're talking the Walk of Fame, Grauman's Chinese Theatre, all that jazz. You can practically feel the stardust in the air, and who knows, you might even bump into a celebrity or two, maybe even Harry Styles. One can dream, right? Now, after you've had your fill of Hollywood glamour, it's time to hit the beach. Venice Beach is a classic for a reason. You've got the boardwalk buzzing with street performers, artists, and those quirky shops you just have to see to believe. Oh, and don't forget to grab yourself a smoothie from one of the many vendors. They're basically a food group in LA. But LA isn't all about beaches and Hollywood, you know. There's a whole lot of culture to soak up here. You've got the Getty Center with its stunning gardens and art collections, the Griffith Observatory for the best views in town, and let's not forget about Disneyland. Whether you're a kid or just a kid at heart, a day at the happiest place on earth is always a good idea. Get your history hats on because we're heading to Washington, D.C. This city is jam-packed with iconic landmarks and fascinating museums. You can't miss the National Mall. It's a greatest hits of American monuments, the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and the World War II Memorial. Feel patriotic, even if you're not American. Pop into the Smithsonian museums. They're free and fascinating. Dinosaurs, space, or history, there's a Smithsonian for you. Take a break at the Georgetown waterfront, charming streets, boutiques and restaurants. Hop on a riverboat cruise. Enjoy a romantic dinner on the water. DC isn't all politics and history. All right, buckle up, lads and lasses. We're off to the windy city, Chicago. And no, it's not just windy because of the weather, though that can be a bit nippy, let me tell you. It's the energy, the buzz, the sheer excitement in the air. First things first, you got to try the deep dish pizza. I'm talking about a pizza so deep you could go swimming in it, though I wouldn't recommend it. Trust me, this pizza is a religious experience. Next up, head over to Millennium Park and check out the Bean. It's this giant, shiny, bean-shaped sculpture, and it's even more fun than it sounds. Go on, take a selfie. Everyone's doing it. And for all you art lovers out there, the Art Institute of Chicago is a must-see. They've got everything from Monet to Warhol, so you're bound to find something that tickles your fancy. Orlando, Florida, home of theme parks, sunshine, and enough Mickey Mouse ears to make your head spin. You know you're in for a good time when the city's mascot is a giant talking mouse. Of course, you can't talk about Orlando without mentioning the big cheese himself, Walt Disney World. It's not just for kids, you know. From thrilling rides to magical shows, there's something for everyone. But hold your horses, there's more. Universal Orlando Resort is a whole other kettle of fish with amazing attractions based on your favorite movies and TV shows. Harry Potter fans, you're in for a real treat, and if you need a break from all the theme park madness, there are plenty of other things to see and do in Orlando. Check out the Kennedy Space Center, go for a swim in one of the many crystal clear springs, or just relax by the pool with a cocktail. Get ready to jazz it up because we're heading down south to New Orleans, baby. This city knows how to party, and trust me, you're going to want in on the action. First stop, the French Quarter. It's a melting pot of culture, music, and delicious food. You'll find everything from street performers to voodoo shops, and the architecture is like something out of a movie. And speaking of food, you can't leave New Orleans without trying some gumbo, jambalaya, and beignets. Trust me, your taste buds will thank you for it. Of course, no trip to New Orleans is complete without experiencing the music scene. From jazz to blues to zydeco, this city is a musician's paradise. So grab a drink, find a street corner, and let the good times roll. All right, my friends, let's hop across the pond. Not literally, of course. We're staying right here in the good old US of A, but to Boston, a city so steeped in history you half expect to see Ben Franklin strolling down the street with a feather quill and a twinkle in his eye. First things first, you gotta do the Freedom Trail, yeah? It's like a big red brick road, but instead of leading to a wizard, it takes you past all the iconic spots from the American Revolution. Paul Revere's house, Faneuil Hall, the Old North Church. You'll be saying huzzah before you know it. And speaking of history, you can't miss a trip to Fenway Park, home of the Boston Red Sox. It's practically a cathedral for baseball fans, with its iconic green monster and an atmosphere so electric you can practically taste it. Just try not to get hit by a stray foul ball, yeah? And listen, no trip to Boston is complete without a proper New England clam chowder. I'm talking thick, creamy, loaded with clams, and best enjoyed by the harbor. Trust me, your taste buds will be singing Yankee Doodle Dandy. Next up, we're off to Seattle, Washington, a city known for its coffee, its grunge music, and let's be honest, its rain. But don't let that dampen your spirits, because Seattle is absolutely buzzing with things to see and do. First up, you got to visit the Space Needle, the iconic tower that put Seattle on the map. Head up to the observation deck for breathtaking views of the city, the Puget Sound, and on a clear day, you can even see Mount Rainier in all its glory. It's enough to make you want to belt out a Jimi Hendrix solo. Now, Seattle is famous for its coffee culture, so you can't leave without grabbing a cup of Joe from the original Starbucks. Sure, it's a bit touristy, but hey, when in Rome, right? Or should I say when in Seattle, and if you're a fan of fish, and let's be honest, who isn't? Then you have to check out Pike Place Market. It's a bustling marketplace with fresh seafood, colourful flowers and street performers. Just be careful of flying fish, they tend to get a little carried away. Aloha everyone, get your Hawaiian shirts and your flip-flops ready because we're heading to Honolulu, Hawaii. Picture this, sun-kissed beaches, swaying palm trees, crystal clear waters and a whole lot of aloha spirit. It's basically paradise on earth. First things first, you gotta hit up Waikiki Beach. It's the most famous beach in Hawaii, and for good reason. The sand is like powdered sugar, the water is the perfect temperature, and the waves are perfect for learning to surf. Just don't get too close to the locals. They shred those waves like nobody's business. Now, if you're a history buff, you have to pay a visit to Pearl Harbor. It's a somber and moving experience, but an important reminder of the past. And while you're there, make sure to check out the USS Arizona Memorial, a powerful tribute to the lives lost that fateful day. And listen, no trip to Honolulu is complete without experiencing a traditional luau. I'm talking delicious food, vibrant music, hula dancing, and enough flower lays to make you look like a walking garden. It's an experience you won't soon forget. All right, Denver, the mile-high city. Denver's got it all. Breathtaking mountain views, craft breweries, and Red Rocks Amphitheater. Imagine watching your favorite band as the sun sets over the mountains. Then, head to Larimer Square for Victorian architecture and trendy boutiques. And don't forget, the Rocky Mountains are right on your doorstep. Hiking, biking, skiing, you name it. After a day of exploring, enjoy a craft beer. You've earned it. San Diego, sunshine, beaches, and did I mention sunshine? This place is like a permanent vacation. You've got that perfect California vibe going on, laid back but with a side of adventure. Now, you can't go to San Diego without hitting the beach. La Jolla Cove, Coronado Beach, Pacific Beach, they're all amazing. From fresh seafood to Mexican food that will make you cry tears of joy. Your taste buds are in for a treat. Hold on to your cowboy hats, folks, because we're headed to Nashville, the heart and soul of country music. It's got that down-home charm, foot-stomping music, and enough fried chicken to satisfy even the hungriest of cowboys. First things first, you gotta do a little honky-tonkin' down Broadway. Neon lights flashing, the smell of barbecue, and music pouring out of every doorway. Wander from bar to bar, listening to some of the best up-and-coming musicians. And don't miss the Country Music Hall of Fame, a must-see for any music fan. When you need a break, take a stroll through Centennial Park. So put on your best boots, grab some hot chicken, and experience the magic of Music City. Yeehaw! All right, buckle up, Buttercup, because we're headed to Austin, Texas, the live music capital of the world. And let me tell you, this city knows how to have a good time. First things first, you've got to hit up 6th Street. For a laid-back vibe, head to Zilker Park. And don't miss the Bats at Congress Avenue Bridge, Austin, Texas. Live music, good food, weird vibes. All right, history buffs, foodies, and Rocky fans, this one's for you. We're in Philadelphia, the birthplace of America and arguably the cheesesteak. First stop, you gotta pay your respects to the Liberty Bell. I mean, it's cracked, sure, but it's iconic. And while you're there, check out Independence Hall, where those brave souls signed the Declaration of Independence. Talk about a history lesson. Just try not to get goosebumps, I dare you. Now, I know what you're thinking. All that history's got to be working up an appetite. Well, you're in luck. Because Philadelphia is home to the cheesesteak, and let me tell you, it's a thing of beauty. Thinly sliced steak, melted cheese, onions, if you're fancy, all piled high on a crusty roll. Get yourself one, grab a park bench, and just enjoy the deliciousness. And speaking of deliciousness, have you ever heard of water ice? No, not water on ice, that's just silly. Water ice is a Philadelphia staple, a frozen treat that's perfect for a hot day. Trust me, you'll love it. It's like sorbet, but better. And while you're at it, grab a cannoli from one of the many Italian bakeries in South Philly. Delizioso. So there you have it. Philadelphia, a city steeped in history, with a heart of cheesesteak and a sweet tooth for water ice. Next stop, we're heading to the Pacific Northwest. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're headed to Portland, Oregon, the land of craft breweries, food trucks galore, and enough flannel to clothe a small nation. You can't come to Portland without experiencing the food truck scene. It's legendary. And the best part, it's all delicious. How do they make food this good in a truck? It's like magic. After your fill of food truck delights, quench your thirst at one of Portland's many craft breweries. They're everywhere and brewing up some seriously tasty beers. So grab a pint, pull up a chair and get ready to experience beer nirvana. Check out the International Rose Test Garden, home to over 10,000 rose bushes and more than 650 varieties. You'll feel like you've stepped into a perfume ad in the best way possible. And hey, if you're lucky, you might even catch a glimpse of the resident heron. So there you have it, Portland, Oregon, a city that's equal parts quirky, delicious and beautiful. And with that, we're off to our next adventure. All right, we're heading down south now to a city that's just dripping with southern charm, and I'm not talking about the sweet tea, though that is pretty darn good. Savannah, Georgia. Imagine strolling down cobblestone streets, the scent of magnolia in the air, those gorgeous antebellum mansions just staring back at you. It's like stepping right into a Nicholas Sparks novel, but with less heartbreak and more fried green tomatoes. And speaking of history, Savannah's got it in spades. Founded in 1733, it's one of America's oldest cities. And trust me, you can feel that history everywhere you go. From the haunted squares to the stories whispered on the breeze, it's like the past is alive and well in Savannah. Now, when you're there, you've got to take a stroll down Jones Street. Seriously, it's like walking through a postcard. Those majestic oak trees, the Spanish moss hanging low, and the grand houses. It's enough to make you want to pack your bags and move right in. And don't even get me started on the food. Oh, the food! From soul food to seafood, Savannah's got it all. Grab a plate of shrimp and grits, treat yourself to some peach cobbler, and wash it all down with a sweet tea. Trust me, your taste buds will thank you. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're off to another southern belle, Charleston, South Carolina. This city is like a perfectly preserved time capsule, full of history, charm, and enough delicious food to make your head spin. First things first, you've got to take a horse-drawn carriage ride through the historic streets. It's the most romantic way to see the city, even if your carriage driver does keep telling you about his prize-winning begonias. And speaking of romantic, have you ever seen a more picturesque street than Rainbow Row? Those pastel-coloured houses are straight out of a dream, and they're just begging to be Instagrammed. But Charleston isn't just about pretty houses and horse-drawn carriages. It's also a city with a rich history, some of it joyous, some of it heartbreaking. Take a walk along the Battery, where you can almost hear the echoes of Civil War cannons, or visit one of the many historic plantations just outside the city. Just be sure to take some time to relax and soak it all in. Grab a seat on a porch swing, sip on some sweet tea, and let the charm of Charleston wash over you. Hold on to your chakras, everyone, because we're about to get our zen on in Sedona, Arizona. Imagine a place where towering red rock formations meet lush green forests, where the air crackles with energy, and where you might just find yourself feeling a little bit more spiritual. That's Sedona, baby. This desert town is famous for its stunning natural beauty, but it's also known as a center for spiritual healing and New Age practices. People come from all over the world to meditate among the red rocks, hike to energy vortexes, and maybe even get their auras photographed. Now, I'm not saying you'll suddenly develop the ability to levitate after a visit to Sedona, but you might just feel a little bit lighter, a little bit more connected to, the universe and stuff. And even if you're not into all that spiritual stuff, there's no denying the sheer beauty of this place. Hike to the top of Cathedral Rock for breathtaking views, explore the shops and art galleries in uptown Sedona, or just find a quiet spot to sit and soak up the energy of the red rocks. Just don't forget your camera, your hiking boots, and maybe an open mind. You never know what you might discover in Sedona. Right then, Glacier National Park. This place is absolutely massive, like you could fit a small country in here. And speaking of small, you'll feel absolutely minuscule next to these mountains. They are huge. But don't let that intimidate you, all right? There's a reason they call it Glacier National Park, and not Glacier National Sit on Your Bum and Do Nothing Park. It's all about the great outdoors here, people. We're talking hiking trails galore. You've got your easy breezy walks for the casual stroller, and then you've got your hardcore climb a mountain before breakfast trails for the adrenaline junkies. Whatever your flavor, Glacier's got you covered. Don't forget your camera, yeah? Because the views up here are something else. We're talking crystal clear lakes, waterfalls cascading down mountainsides, and more shades of green than a Kermit the Frog convention. Trust me, your Instagram followers will be green with envy. Yosemite, Yosemite, Yosemite. Just saying the name makes you feel all adventurous, doesn't it? Like you should be wearing one of those funny hats with the flaps on the side and a little compass on top. Well, good news, folks. You don't need any fancy gear to appreciate the absolute majesty of Yosemite National Park. This place is like nature's own theme park. And trust me, it's got thrills and spills for everyone. We're talking towering granite cliffs, waterfalls that'll take your breath away, and sequoia trees so big you could probably fit a whole flat inside one. I mean, seriously, these trees have been around since, like, the dinosaurs. How cool is that? Now listen up, because this is important. Yosemite is popular, like really popular. So if you're planning a visit, do yourself a favor and book your accommodations way in advance. Trust me, you don't want to be that person sleeping in their car trying to find a Wi-Fi signal to tweet about it. Well, folks, there you have it. We've explored the Grand Canyon, felt the spray of Yellowstone's geysers, and even braved the bright lights of Times Square. We've covered more miles than a cross-country road trip playlist, and honestly, I'm a little bit sad it's over. But hey, that's the beauty of travel, innit? It's all about creating memories that last a lifetime, even if your feet are killing you and you desperately need a shower. So, what are you waiting for? Go forth and explore this amazing country. And hey, if you happen to find yourself in any of these incredible places, be sure to give Twisty McFisty a shout out. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey through the USA. We hope these travel tips and scenic views have inspired your next adventure. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your fellow travel enthusiasts. Safe travels!